So many low-budget post-apocalyptic films that would otherwise have been stranded on VHS are getting remastered Blu-ray releases. What a wonderful time to be alive. Wheels of Fire is a 1985 post-apocalyptic action film from director Cirio Santiago. The movie opens the way so many post-apocalyptic movies do, with a car racing through the desert. I think he's speeding to find the bathroom. Gotta shit! We need a bunch of props to make this look like part of a destroyed civilization. Quick! Spray paint some old refrigerators! This is our hero Trace, who is the winner in the Mad Max Lookalike contest. He makes a stop at this year's Burning Man to visit his sister Arlie. This upsets her boyfriend, low-budget John Cusack. Arlie introduces Trace to her boyfriend Bo. I'm sure Luke is around here somewhere. Bo has a duel in the gladiator arena where the winner gets the other one's car. Ladies and gentlemen, jazzercise! Bo's supposed to fight this guy, but he cheats and brings in a ringer. What's my motivation? Act confused! This audience is filled with ninjas. The bad guy's killing Bo, so Trace steps in to lightly kick him. The two then duke it out. Trace hits the guy in the arm, which somehow knocks him out. He then takes the keys and they escape the angry mob. They speed off and the gang chases after them. That's some shitty trigger discipline there, Bob. If I'm driving too slow, go around. Hey, she's passing on the right, jerk-ass. Undercranking the camera for car chases always looks silly. Trace splits the cars so they go after him instead of Arlie. Most of the cars go after Trace, but one keeps after Arlie. She very slowly crashes into him and pushes the car off a cliff. Tee-hee, murder is fun! Trace is trying to get away, but luckily, this is one of the drivers chasing him.
Jonesy, look out!
They both manage to escape and meet up down the road. Trace notices Scourge's evil gang is heading towards them. They decide to split up again to get away. Bo tries to establish dominance by swallowing Arlie's head. This is Scourge, wearing football pads, the standard armor of the apocalypse. They chase after Trace, who leads them into a trap. Alright guys, he has a flamethrower. Instead of standing out of range and shooting at him, let's run up and get burned to death. He leads them to a tower, then doubles back with the car so he can roast him. This guy shoots at him, then goes back inside to put on a ski mask before jumping out the window. Arlie and Bo get away, but instead of going somewhere safe, they decide it's sexy time. Scourge's gang finds them and has them cornered before they can get away. Bo betrays Arlie and offers to join Scourge's gang. All he has to do is survive the initiation. What's the initiation? Man-on-man gang rape. Skag wants Arlie for himself, but Scourge stops him. Scourge goes to talk to Arlie. Are you not impressed by my NXT championship belt? They take her back to the camp by tying her to the hood of a car. Not surprisingly, this isn't the first movie where I've seen this happen. I don't think she's acting. I think she's genuinely terrified. I certainly hope she got hazard pay. Since Bo failed the initiation, they drag him to death. Trace jumps in to save the day. Look at how far he falls. Does he have robot legs? He kills the guy only to find out they took Arlie. He then shoots Bo for being a jackass. The gang ties Arlie up in Scourge's tent. Scourge gets word of a cargo delivery, so he sends his troops to intercept. Trace is driving around when he sees a hawk that leads him to this. Stinger's being chased around by a group of Scourge's men. Let's jump this hill! Me too! Me three! Oh shit! The group surrounds Stinger and she fights them off. Trace shows up to help and, dude, you didn't set the parking brake! They kill the bandits, but in the process, Stinger's car gets destroyed. Rather than thanking Trace, she tries to steal his car. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Trace disarms her, and she offers to help him find Scourge. The hawk is Stinger's pet. Trace agrees to let her join him. In another part of the wasteland, an old man and his granddaughter are being chased by bandits. The girl manages to escape, but they get the grandfather. Hey, you want to be initiated into our gang, old man? No? Well, I'll just cut you in half then. That evening, well, more like evening, Trace is sleeping in the car, and Stinger finds the old man's truck. She goes back to tell Trace, but gets pulled underground. The underground dwellers, called Sandmen, throw her into a cell with the granddaughter Spike. She has telepathy and tells Stinger they plan to eat them. Why do so many of these characters have a name that starts with S? The hawk tells Trace that Stinger's missing. The gang heads to intercept the cargo, and Scourge goes to, do bad things with Arlie. Trace finds the truck and Stinger's tracks. He also gets pulled underground, but easily kicks the crap out of the Sandmen. I'm thinking these guys robbed a wig surplus store. Trace rescues the girls and kills a bunch of Sandmen. Scourge's men attack the cargo shipment. Guys, I don't think you're supposed to blow this stuff up. Trace happens upon the shipment as some cannibals are cleaning up whatever's left. They rescue the diminutive Mutt, the only survivor. Mutt takes them to a town where they're building a rocket, because why not? They meet Wiz, the hippie leader. He tells them he discovered the planet Paradise and plans to leave the Earth as soon as the rocket's finished. Trace and Stinger insult each other, which means they'll soon be in love. Oh my god, this just turned into a Hallmark Channel romance. Arlie tries to escape, but gets captured.
We caught this one trying to escape.
Throw her into one of the trucks.
Who said that?
Throw her into one of the trucks.
Spike is sad that Trace is leaving. So long, person I met yesterday. Right after Trace leaves, Scourge's men attack. They blow up the rocket and take whatever supplies they can. What's my motivation? Well, your character's name is Frowning Guy. The Hawk tells Trace the village is in trouble. What's that, Hawky? Timmy fell down the well. Spike tells Trace they have his sister, and so he goes to rescue her. Trace finds Arlie, but gets caught before he can escape. Back in town, they're amassing a full-on assault against Scourge. The gang's trying to figure out what to do with Trace.
Let's just peel his skin off. I always like it when we peel his skin off. We haven't done that for a while.
Alright already, Ted. It's always the skin peeling with you. Arlie stabs one of them in the dick and gets away. Trace fights the gang and rescues Arlie. The good guy army, called the Ownership, are headed into a trap. Scourge has explosives set and plans to blow them up. Trace sees this and tries to stop him. Arlie gets shot but manages to set off the charges. Why did she do this? The Ownership attacks Scourge's base. Mutt runs like Steven Seagal. Scourge escapes, so Trace goes after him. Stinger faces off with Skag. She kills him, but he pushes her off a cliff to her death. Scourge thinks he got away, but Trace drops a car on him. The Ownership won the war, and Stinger gives Spike her 10-minute Trinity death speech. Now that the war's over and Arlie's dead, Trace drives back into the wasteland. The movie was filmed in the Philippines for an undisclosed but very low budget. When Fred Bailey was growing up, the first movie he saw was Roger Corman's Attack of the Crab Monsters. He dreamed of working with Corman, so he started sending his scripts to his office, but wasn't getting any response. Finally, one day, he just went to Corman's office and waited to meet him. Corman personally came out to tell him he received his work and he'd contact him soon. Shortly thereafter, Corman called him and offered him the job to write Wheels of Fire, although its original title was The Vindicator. The villain Scourge was originally cast as Lee Ving from the band Fear. They flew him out for the film, but when they went to get him at his hotel, he was gone. Filming was almost ready to start, so they quickly put associate producer and production designer Joe Mari Aviano in the role. Joe Mari had previous acting experience, as well as having a look that would fit with the bad guy. They never found out exactly what happened to Ving. Months later, he resurfaced in Tokyo, and the rumor was that he left the production and went into hiding because someone was trying to kill him. Director Cirio Santiago worked with Corman on numerous films. After the success of Mad Max and The Road Warrior, tons of low-budget post-apocalyptic films were being made. They cost very little to produce and easily turned a profit. Wheels of Fire had a theatrical release, but due to the budding home video market at the time, it made even more there. Corman consulted with Santiago, and they agreed to start churning out films specifically for the home market. Fred Bailey continued to work for Corman and write with Santiago. They made numerous films together like Equalizer 2000, Fast Gun, Demon of Paradise, Raiders of the Sun, and Killzone. Many of these were made in the Philippines due to how cheap it was to film there. Linda Weissmeyer, who played Army, was an ex-Playboy playmate who often had small roles in teen sex comedies like Joysticks and Private School. Wheels of Fire was an opportunity for her to have a much larger part in a film as opposed to being a background character. She retired from acting 2 years later and sadly died of brain cancer in 2012. The score of the film was by composer Chris Young in one of his earliest jobs. Young is now one of Hollywood's most sought-after composers with scores for Sinister, Swordfish, Drag Me to Hell, and Spider-Man 3. The stunt with the dune buggy was a complete accident. The driver did spend a few days in the hospital, but was okay. Wheels of Fire is one of many Mad Max knockoffs that doesn't come close to the original, but is still a ton of fun. It's got explosions, fights, sex, car chases in Fast Forward. What more could you possibly ask for?
We caught this one trying to escape.
Throw her into one of the trucks.